People think of Seattle as this cozy, rainy city with coffee shops and grunge nostalgia. But the truth is, when the rain doesn't stop and the sky stays gray for days, you start to feel like the shadows are watching you. That's when the city starts to feel wrong. This happened in 2021. I was living in a studio apartment in Capitol Hill, fresh out of a breakup and kind of unraveling. My best friend, Jess, was the only thing keeping me grounded. She'd come over all the time, bring me food, make me laugh, pull me out of my dark spiral. Then she moved across the country for a job in New York. I told her I was happy for her, but the truth is, I was shattered. To cope, I started talking to myself. Not out loud, just in the mirror. I'd look at myself and pretend she was there. I know that sounds weird, but when you're lonely enough, you'll do anything to feel connection. One night, I'd had a few drinks and was brushing my teeth, staring at my reflection. I whispered, "I wish you were still here, Jess." And my reflection didn't move. For a second too long, it just stared at me with this crooked smile. Then it caught up, like a lag in a video call. I jumped back. I told myself it was the wine, the stress, the lighting. But after that, things started getting weird. Lights flickered. My reflection would lag again or blink after I did. Sometimes I'd catch it watching me from the corner of my eye, just a little off. One night, I saw her, Jess, in the reflection, not beside me, not behind me, in the mirror. She looked pale, drenched, like she'd been out in the rain for hours, but she smiled and said, "I missed you." I screamed and backed away, knocking over the trash can, but when I looked again, she was gone. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, it was faint, crackly, but it was Jess's voice. She whispered, "You let me in. Now I'm not leaving." I tried calling her. Nothing. So I texted her. A few minutes later, she replied, "Hey, everything's good here. Sorry, been slammed with work. Miss you tons." Her response was normal, like she didn't know anything had happened. That night, I covered all the mirrors in my apartment, even the microwave door. Everything. But at 3:17 a.m., I woke up to the sound of glass cracking. The bathroom mirror had shattered. There was a single handprint on the inside of the glass. I lost it. Packed a bag, crashed at a friend's place, told her everything. She said, "That's beyond creepy, but you do know Jess died, right?" I laughed. "What? No, she just texted me 2 nights ago." She looked at me like I'd lost my mind, pulled up the article. Jess had been found in her New York apartment, dead, 3 days ago. Cause of death unknown, no signs of struggle, no wounds, just gone. But the timestamp on the text she sent me? One day after she died, I went back to my apartment one last time to grab the rest of my things. The mirrors were all uncovered, and on each one, written in smeared red lipstick, were the words, "You see me now." That was 2 years ago. I moved, changed my number, got rid of every mirror except the tiny one I keep in a drawer, face down. But some nights, I feel it, that pause, that delay, where my reflection is thinking before I do, and I know she's still there, watching, waiting, because when you love someone enough to bring them back, they might come back wrong. My name's Bree. I'm not the type to believe in ghosts, demons, or any of that. I grew up in Fort Worth, right off I-30, in a neighborhood where everyone knew everyone. Life was simple. Until the summer of 2022. That's when my best friend Savannah died. We'd been tight since we were 15. She was loud, fearless, the kind of girl who'd climb water towers on a dare or sneak into abandoned houses just to say she did it. I was quieter. The voice of reason, she called me. She died in a car crash, hit head-on by a drunk driver on Camp Bowie Boulevard. I was supposed to be in the car with her that night, but I bailed. She texted me right before she left, "You're no fun anymore. We're still besties, though. Always." She died an hour later. I spiraled. Guilt, grief, all of it. I stopped going out. I couldn't even drive past that road anymore. It felt like the city had swallowed the light. A week later, her mom gave me Savannah's old journal, said she'd want me to have it. Inside, there was a note folded into the back that said, "If I ever die, I'm not really gone. I'll come back for you." At first, I thought it was a joke. Savannah always had a dramatic streak, but the handwriting, it wasn't hers. It looked different, jagged. That night, the lights in my apartment flickered. I laughed it off. Texas grid, right? But then my phone rang. It was Savannah's number. I didn't answer. I couldn't. She was gone. The next night, I heard knocking, not on the door, on the window. Second floor. I peeked out and saw nothing, but when I turned back, her photo on my dresser had fallen face down. I tried to stay calm, tell myself it was grief playing tricks on me. But it only got worse. I'd wake up to music playing, our song, "Ain't It Fun" by Paranormal. The volume would slowly rise until it was blaring, but no device in my house was even on. Then came the mirrors. I'd glance at them and catch a glimpse of her behind me, but only in the reflection. Her face was pale, her eyes were completely black, and she'd smile. That wasn't my Savannah. That was something else. One night, I broke down and screamed at the mirror, "What do you want from me?" And it answered, in her voice, "You left me. Now we're even." My legs gave out. I crawled away from the mirror, sobbing. I tried burning the journal. It wouldn't catch. No matter what I did, lighter, stove, fireplace, it just turned black at the edges and stayed whole. I finally drove out to Benbrook Lake, one of our favorite hangout spots, and tossed it into the water, watched it sink. That night, I slept for the first time in weeks, until 3:11 a.m. I woke up gasping, couldn't breathe, couldn't move, and there she was, Savannah, sitting on my chest, her face swollen and bloody like it had been in the crash, her head tilted, bones sticking out from her neck. She leaned in and whispered, "You can't throw me away." I blacked out. When I woke up, I was on the floor, scratches across my chest like I'd been attacked by an animal. I left Fort Worth that day. I changed my number, blocked her old one, even though the calls had stopped. I told her family I needed time to heal, but sometimes I'll get a voicemail. No number, no caller ID, just her breathing, waiting, and I know she never left. My name is Lane, and I don't go back to Nebraska anymore. I grew up just outside a tiny town called Giltner, about an hour west of Lincoln. Miles of flat land, wind that never stops blowing, and cornfields that go on forever. My best friend growing up was Allie. We were like sisters. Same birthday, same dreams. We used to sneak out and lie in the middle of the cornfields at night, looking up at the stars and making pacts about our future. College in Chicago, big city dreams, never looking back. But that didn't happen. Allie didn't make it to senior year. She went missing in October of our junior year, disappeared on a Friday night after telling me she was going to the old Holloway Barn, a place outside town that locals always whispered about. I was supposed to go with her, but I bailed last minute because my mom grounded me. I never saw her again. They searched the barn, the woods, the fields. Nothing. No tracks, no sign. Her truck was found parked along a dirt road, door open, keys still inside. People thought she ran away, but I knew she didn't, because 3 nights later I found something outside my window. Her friendship bracelet, the one I helped her make in middle school. It was tied in a perfect knot around a corn husk, placed right on my windowsill, and that was just the beginning. I started dreaming about her. At first, she was just standing in the distance, in a sea of corn, then closer, then calling my name, then screaming it. Eventually, I went out to the Holloway barn myself. I had to know. The barn was barely standing, weather-worn, half collapsed. Inside, it smelled like mold and something dead. There were symbols scratched into the wood. Dried corn husks hung from the rafters in bundles like they'd been tied by hand. In the middle of the floor was a circle burned into the wood. Inside it, Allie's hoodie, folded neatly, perfectly. As I reached down to touch it, I heard the corn move behind the barn. Not wind, movement, like something walking. I turned, and I swear to God, I saw her, but it wasn't her. It looked like Allie, but her face was wrong, too still, eyes too wide, like something was wearing her face. And she said in a voice that sounded far away and close at the same time, "You promised you'd never leave me." I ran, didn't look back. I don't remember the drive home. I just remember getting into the shower and sobbing until I couldn't stand. That night, I found a note on my kitchen table, not handwritten, carved into the wood. "You broke the pact." I left Nebraska 2 weeks later. A month after I moved to Denver, my old neighbor called me, said my childhood home had burned down. No one inside, but they found something strange in the ashes, a bracelet tied around a perfectly preserved corn husk. It's been years, and sometimes I still hear her in the wind, Allie or whatever's left of her, calling me, whispering through the rustle of the corn, "You promised."